October 1972. Amesbury, Massachusetts. Mildred Wells waited several seconds, holding the knife steady in Sheila Palmer Russell's ribs, until what little struggle there had been was over. Sheila's two little girls were upstairs sleeping, and they were now Mildred's forever. The three of them were finally free of the annoying interruptions and schedule changes Sheila had pulled one too many times. It was also an essential milestone toward Mildred's ultimate goal, revenge against their father, Tim Russell, who had played a large part in making sure Mildred would never see her son again. Satisfied that Sheila was dead, Mildred stood and walked through the living room to look up into the stairwell. She half expected the two girls to be at the top of the stairs, wondering what the ruckus was, but fortunately, they slept on. Now Mildred had some time to arrange things so that when they passed on their way out the door, they wouldn't see the mess, and then they would leave town. Mildred turned back for the kitchen. Suddenly, Vivian, the youngest daughter, appeared from the darkness of her bedroom, peering down the stairs at the person who was not her mother. Mildred sensed her presence and turned back to meet her before she could descend, blocking her path. If the little girl saw her mother in a heap in the kitchen, it wouldn't be ideal. "Who are you?" the 7-year-old asked. Mildred held up a finger to her lips to shush her. If the older sister Olivia could be kept sleeping, it would make things simpler. "Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? I know you from Daddy's house. What's your name?" "I've never seen you at our house before. Do you know my mom? Her name is Sheila." Mildred glided up the stairs, closing the distance between them swiftly, but not so quickly as to threaten. "Something doesn't smell very good," continued Vivian. It was the last thing she uttered that night. With a quick tap of the finger against the little girl's forehead, Vivian fell into a trance and stopped questioning. Mildred walked past her without breaking stride and into the dark bedroom. Olivia was indeed still sleeping, but would have to be awakened soon for travel. Mildred shook her twice. As soon as Olivia's eyes were open, she repeated the forehead tap. And both girls were under Mildred's magical daze, courtesy of the Book of Shadows. Now there would be no screams that might wake the neighbors and call attention. She just needed to lead them through their Amesbury neighborhood and disappear into the woods without being seen. Mildred found shoes and coats for the girls and marched them down, through the living room and past the kitchen, directly past their mother's lifeless form. The girls' heads didn't even turn to look and remained locked on Mildred's presence. Taking one last look back, Mildred had nearly forgotten her preferred knife, which was still protruding from Sheila's chest. Using her favorite spell, she called the knife to her hand and just as quickly returned it to the place she'd buried it over a century ago, in the woods of Beverly Farms, Massachusetts, over 30 miles away.